Let me tell you something today. When life gets hard, when everything around you starts to fall apart, and when you start to ask, why me, God? I want you to remember this. God didn't put you there to break you. He put you there to build you. You see, we often pray for strength, but when God sends us a storm, we complain about the rain. We ask for growth, but when He plants us in the dark soil of difficulty, we cry about being buried. But listen to me, you are not buried, you are planted. Every challenge you face is a classroom, and every pain is a teacher. God is not punishing you, He is preparing you. The reason you're facing pressure right now is because He's shaping your purpose through your pain. You may not see it today, but one day you'll look back and say, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't have become who I am. So don't curse the struggle. Don't run from the fire, because God only refines gold in the hottest flames. When God puts you in a difficult situation, it's never to destroy you. It's to develop you. Every challenge you face is not a punishment, it's preparation. Sometimes life throws you into places that feel uncomfortable, uncertain, and painful. You may feel like everything is going wrong, like the ground beneath your feet is shaking, like you're being tested beyond your limits. But listen closely, difficulty is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. It's the fire that forges your strength, the storm that strengthens your roots, and the mountain that builds your muscles. Think about how a seed becomes a tree. The seed is buried deep underground, in darkness, surrounded by dirt and pressure. From the outside, it looks like the end, but it's actually the beginning. Without being buried, that seed would never grow roots. Without pressure, it would never break open. In the same way, when God allows you to go through dark moments, He's not burying you. He's planting you. He's giving you the conditions you need to grow, even if you can't see it yet. The darkness that scares you is the same darkness that gives birth to your destiny. In your daily life, difficulties often show up in unexpected ways. Maybe it's the job that didn't work out, the friend who betrayed you, the dream that didn't unfold the way you thought it would. You pray, you plan, you do everything right, and still it seems like everything is falling apart. But here's the truth. Sometimes things have to fall apart so something greater can fall into place. You can't see the bigger picture when you're standing inside the frame. What looks like a setback today might actually be a setup for something incredible tomorrow. Remember the butterfly. Before it can fly, it has to struggle inside the cocoon. That struggle looks painful, but it's necessary. If you were to cut the cocoon early, trying to help the butterfly, it would never gain the strength in its wings to fly. The resistance is what builds its ability to soar. The same applies to you. Without resistance, there is no strength. Without pressure, there is no power. Without difficulty, there is no development. God is not trying to make you comfortable. He's trying to make you capable. Every challenge you face is a classroom where life teaches you something new. When you go through loss, you learn how to appreciate what truly matters. When you face failure, you learn humility and patience. When you deal with disappointment, you learn how to trust the timing of your journey. Difficulty is not there to stop you, it's there to shape you. The best lessons in life often come wrapped in pain. And the people who shine the brightest are usually the ones who've walked through the darkest valleys. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. It wasn't during easy times. It was when you had to fight through confusion, when you had to push through fear, when you had to keep going even when everything told you to quit. You didn't just survive those moments, you transformed through them. You discovered strength you never knew you had. That's what God does. He uses difficulty as the tool to reveal your hidden power. Sometimes we ask God for strength, and He gives us struggle. We ask for wisdom, and He gives us problems to solve. We ask for courage, and He places us in situations that test our fear. It's not because He wants to hurt us. It's because He knows that real growth doesn't come from comfort. The mountain climber doesn't grow on flat ground. The diamond isn't formed in soft conditions. Every moment of pressure is a divine investment in your potential. Imagine a potter shaping clay. The clay doesn't complain. The process isn't gentle. The potter presses, molds, and spins it until it becomes something beautiful. If the clay could speak, it might say, Why are you pushing me? Why are you stretching me? But the potter knows what the clay can become even before it does. That's how God works with you. He sees the masterpiece hidden inside the mess. When he applies pressure, it's not to destroy you, it's to design you. So the next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, instead of asking, why me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every hardship holds a hidden lesson. Every closed door is an invitation to find another way. Every painful moment carries the seed of transformation. What feels like chaos is often construction. What feels like delay is often direction. You're not being held back. You're being positioned for purpose. In daily life, it's easy to forget that growth takes time. We live in a world that wants instant results, instant comfort, instant success. But God works differently. He builds strong foundations, not fast structures. The people who endure the longest are those who were willing to be tested, to be challenged, to walk through seasons of struggle with faith in their hearts. When you accept your difficulties as divine tools, you stop fighting against them and start growing through them. So don't be afraid of your storms. Don't let fear convince you that you're finished. You may be in the fire, but remember, the same fire that melts wax also hardens steel. It all depends on what you're made of. You are made of strength, of purpose, of divine energy. You were not created to crumble. You were created to conquer. The same God who allowed the storm will give you the strength to stand in it. When you understand that difficulty is a divine setup for growth, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of life and start realizing you're a student of destiny. Every challenge is shaping your character, sharpening your vision, and strengthening your spirit. One day, you'll look back and say, that situation I thought would destroy me, that's the very thing that made me. So keep going. The pain you feel today is building the power you'll need tomorrow. Trust the process. You're not just going through it. You're growing through it. Pain pushes you toward your potential. It is not your enemy, it's your awakening. It is the voice that whispers, you can do more, you can be more. When comfort tries to lull you back to sleep, every human being wants growth, but very few understand that growth never comes wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in challenge and heartbreak, in disappointment, in moments when you feel like giving up. Yet those very moments are the ones that transform you from ordinary to extraordinary. Pain doesn't visit to destroy you. It visits to reveal you. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall, stumble, and cry countless times before they take their first steady step. But without falling, they would never learn balance. Without the pain of falling, they would never learn how to stand strong. That's how life teaches all of us, through the sting of experience. Pain has always been the most powerful teacher because it leaves a mark that comfort never can. When you go through something painful, a broken relationship, a loss, a failure, or a dream that didn't unfold, you feel like you've lost a piece of yourself. But in truth, you're shedding the version of you that could not carry the greatness ahead. Pain strips away your illusions and reveals what truly matters. It makes you humble, patient, and wise. It burns away ego, and from its ashes rises understanding. That's how God works. He doesn't always remove the pain, but he uses it to produce purpose. Look around in your daily life. Every successful person you admire, every strong soul you respect, every wise heart you trust, they all carry scars. You may not see them, but those scars are the silent evidence of battles fought and lessons learned. Pain pushed them to become who they are. The athlete who wins gold once pushed through exhaustion, injuries, and endless nights of doubt. The entrepreneur who built an empire once faced bankruptcy, rejection, and sleepless nights filled with fear. The parent who raises strong children once fought silent battles to keep going when life felt impossible. Behind every strong person, there is a story of struggle that taught them strength. Pain is not the end. It's the beginning of transformation. When life breaks you open, it allows new light to enter. A seed must crack before it grows. A diamond must endure pressure before it shines. A sword must pass through fire before it becomes sharp. Likewise, your potential lies dormant until pain shakes it awake. The discomfort you feel is simply the signal that your soul is expanding beyond the limits you once knew. Sometimes pain appears as loneliness. You might feel isolated, misunderstood, or unseen. But that loneliness is God's invitation for you to rediscover your own company, to build strength from within rather than relying on others for validation. Sometimes pain arrives through loss, the loss of a job, a friend, a dream. But even loss is not final. It's often a redirection, guiding you towards something better suited for your growth. You may not see it now, but one day, you'll understand that everything you lost was making space for something greater to arrive. Pain also has a way of revealing your strength. You never truly know what you're capable of until life pushes you to the edge. You don't realize how strong you are until being strong becomes your only choice. Every time you've thought, I can't do this, and still did it, you discovered a deeper level of potential inside yourself. Pain exposes the strength you didn't know existed. It reminds you that you are more resilient than your fears and more powerful than your doubts in your everyday life. There are moments that feel unbearable. Maybe you're struggling financially, emotionally, or spiritually. You wake up feeling tired of fighting the same battles. But even in those moments, something inside you keeps moving, keeps breathing, keeps hoping. That something is your inner strength, your divine spark, your untapped potential. Pain doesn't just push you toward your limits, it pushes you beyond them. It forces you to evolve, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to reach for what truly matters. Think of a piece of raw iron. On its own, it's rough, dull, and unremarkable. But when placed in the hands of a skilled blacksmith, it's heated, hammered, and shaped under intense pressure until it becomes a masterpiece, a weapon, a tool, a symbol of endurance. That's what pain does to you. God is the blacksmith, and your challenges are the fire. Every strike, every flame, every spark is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of carrying the weight of your purpose. When you begin to see pain as a divine process instead of a punishment, your perspective changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You begin to understand that the very moments that broke your heart also built your character. The tears that fell from your eyes watered the soil of your soul. The sleepless nights taught you how to find peace even in chaos. The losses that shattered you made room for something more powerful to be born within you. Pain may slow you down, but it will not stop you. It may bend you, but it cannot break you, because what's inside you is unshakable. God designed you to endure, to rise, to learn, and to keep going even when it hurts. Every bruise becomes wisdom. Every scar becomes a story. Every struggle becomes strength. The pain that once made you question everything will one day be the reason you inspire others. So, when life hurts, when everything feels heavy, don't run from it. Feel it, face it, and let it mold you. Trust that there's a purpose behind every ache. Because pain is not your enemy, it's your guide. It's pushing you to discover the depth of your potential, to grow into the person you were meant to become. And one day, when you've walked through the fire and come out shining, you'll realize that every ounce of pain was worth it. It was never there to destroy you. It was there to awaken the greatness inside you. You are being tested to be trusted. Every difficulty, every delay, every disappointment is not random. It's a test, not a test to expose your weakness, but to prove your strength. When God allows challenges to come your way, it's because He's preparing you for something greater. Before you can be trusted with more, you have to be tested with less. Before you can carry big blessings, you must prove that you can handle small battles. Tests are not signs of rejection. They are signs of selection. God only tests those He intends to trust. In daily life, we face tests all the time. Some are small, and some shake the very core of our faith. You might be working hard, yet opportunities seem far away. You might be giving your best in relationships, yet still feel unappreciated. You may be walking in honesty, while others who cheat seem to get ahead. In those moments, it's easy to question, why me? But those are precisely the moments that reveal your character. It's easy to stay faithful when things are smooth. Real faith is proven when everything feels uncertain. When a student is tested, it's not because the teacher dislikes them, it's because the teacher knows they're ready to move to the next level. Without the test, there's no promotion. In the same way, life will test you to see if you're ready to carry more. You may ask for success, and life tests your patience. You pray for strength, and God allows struggle. You ask for wisdom, and you face confusion. These are not punishments, they are proofs. Each test is a preparation for trust. Think about gold. Before it becomes pure, it must pass through fire. The heat burns away the impurities, leaving behind only what is valuable. The same happens in your life. The fire of difficulty burns away impatience, fear, ego, and pride. Until all that remains is your true, refined self. God tests you because he knows there's gold within you, but to bring it out, the impurities must go. If he didn't test you, you'd never discover how pure your potential truly is. Let's take a real life example. Imagine a person working diligently for years, giving their all, showing up on time, staying honest, and putting their heart into their work. Yet promotions keep passing them by. It feels unfair. But what they don't see is that this season is their test. Maybe God is watching how they handle delay, whether they'll stay faithful or become bitter. If they stay patient, if they continue to do good without losing integrity, one day, when the time is right, the opportunity will open and they'll be ready to handle it with grace. Because they passed the test, they're now trustworthy. Many people fail not because they lack talent, but because they fail the test of character. They want the blessing, but not the building. They desire the reward, but not the refinement. God doesn't give power to those who can't handle pressure. He doesn't place great responsibility in the hands of those who quit easily. Tests are the training ground for trust. The more you're tested, the more capable you become of carrying greater things. Think of a bridge before it's open to the public. Engineers test it with heavy loads, vibrations, and stress to ensure it won't collapse under real pressure. Only after passing those tests is the bridge declared safe for use. In the same way, before you can hold the weight of your destiny, God tests your structure. He sends challenges to see if your foundation is strong, if your patience is steady, and if your faith can hold under pressure. Sometimes the test comes in the form of silence. When you pray and hear nothing back, you feel forgotten, but you're not. Even teachers stay silent during the test. The silence doesn't mean absence. It means it's your time to apply what you've learned. God trusts you enough to let you stand in that silence because he knows you're capable of passing it. When you endure with faith in that quiet space, you prove that your belief is stronger than your doubt. Tests also reveal what's truly inside you. Pressure exposes priorities. When life squeezes you, what comes out? Complaints or confidence, fear or faith, anger or patience. How you respond in the test determines the kind of blessing you're ready for. If you can stay kind under criticism, if you can stay calm under stress, if you can stay grateful even in the storm, you've passed. You've shown that you're ready to handle more without losing your balance. Sometimes the test isn't about your ability, it's about your attitude. You might have the skill to succeed, but do you have the humility to stay grounded? You might have the vision to lead, but do you have the heart to serve? God will test your intentions before he releases your increase. Because the wrong heart with the right blessing can destroy everything. Every delay, every detour, every difficult situation is God checking your heart, shaping your spirit, and teaching you patience. Think of a farmer waiting for harvest. He plants the seeds, waters the field, and waits through storms and sunshine alike. He doesn't dig up the soil every day to check if the seeds are growing. He trusts the process. You too must learn to trust your process. The waiting season is not wasted. It's where your roots grow deeper. Passing the test often means staying consistent when you see no results, believing even when nothing changes, and holding faith when everything says it's over. And when you pass the test, something beautiful happens. You become someone God can trust with more. You move from being tested to being trusted. You become reliable, strong, and wise. You become the person who can handle both blessing and burden with grace. The very challenges that once made you cry will become the reasons others look up to you. So don't run from your tests, embrace them. Every test is a step toward transformation. Every challenge is shaping your destiny. God doesn't test you to watch you fall. He tests you to see you rise. The test isn't proof of his distance. It's proof of his confidence in you. He knows what's inside you, even if you don't see it yet. And when you come out of the test, stronger, wiser, and more faithful, you'll realize that the test was never meant to break you. It was meant to prove that you were ready to be trusted. Delay doesn't mean denial. When life slows down, when your plan seems stuck, and when your dreams feel out of reach, it's easy to think that maybe God has forgotten you. But delay is not a sign of denial, it's a sign of divine timing. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. It simply means the right moment hasn't arrived. Sometimes God holds you back not because you're not ready for the blessing, but because the blessing isn't ready for you. In life, we are taught to rush. We want things fast, instant success, instant answers, instant results. But anything that comes too quickly rarely lasts. Just like fruit that ripens too early rots too soon. Blessings that come before their time can collapse under their own weight. God knows the right season for every dream, every opportunity, every relationship, every door. What seems like a delay is often His way of protecting you from premature exposure. You're not being denied. You're being developed. Think about a child asking for the keys to drive a car. The parent says, not yet. Not because they don't want the child to drive, but because they know it's dangerous before the right time. In the same way, God sometimes says, not yet, to your prayers. Not because He wants to keep you waiting forever, but because He loves you too much to let you have something before you can handle it. His wait is not rejection, it's preparation. He's shaping your character to match your calling. Look at nature for a moment. The bamboo tree takes years to show any sign of growth. For the first few years after planting, there's nothing visible above the ground. The farmer waters it faithfully, tends to it carefully, but sees no result. Then suddenly, after years of waiting, the bamboo shoots up, growing several feet in just a few weeks. What was happening all that time underground? The roots were strengthening, spreading deep to support its future height. If the farmer had given up in the second or third year, he would have missed the miracle in the fifth. Your life works the same way. Sometimes your growth is underground, invisible to the eye, but very real in your spirit. God is deepening your roots before He displays your fruit. In daily life, delay often looks like disappointment. You apply for jobs and face rejection after rejection. You pour love into someone and end up heartbroken. You work hard toward a dream and doors keep closing. But what if every rejection was redirection? What if every closed door was saving you from a path that wasn't meant for you? Sometimes God withholds what you think you want because He's preparing to give you what you truly need. You might cry over what didn't happen, but later you'll thank Him for it. You'll realize that if that door had opened, it would have led to something that wasn't aligned with your destiny. Think about the story of a traveler stuck in traffic, frustrated and late for a meeting. Minutes later, he learns there was a massive accident on the road ahead. The same road he would have been on if the traffic hadn't stopped him. The delay saved his life. That's how God works. You may see it as a setback, but He sees it as protection. Sometimes the delay is your safety. Sometimes the pause is your preservation. In everyday struggles, delay tests your patience and trust. It's easy to believe in God when everything moves according to your plan. But true faith is shown when you keep believing even when nothing moves. It's in those seasons of waiting that your faith is refined, your character is built, and your strength is revealed. When everything seems silent, when you can't see progress, that's when God is working behind the scenes the most. Seeds grow in the dark, not in the light. You can't see the roots forming, but without them, the tree would never stand tall. Imagine a sculptor working on a statue. He takes his time, chiseling every detail with patience and precision. From the outside, it looks like he's wasting time, but he knows what he's doing. One wrong move could ruin the masterpiece. You are that masterpiece, and the delay is God's way of shaping you perfectly. Every waiting season is a design phase. Every pause is a polishing process. Sometimes we try to rush what should take time. We want success overnight, healing without patience, and breakthroughs without building. God's timing is like the sunrise. You can't force it to come earlier, and yet it always arrives at the right moment. The waiting may feel long, but when it happens beautifully, powerfully, and precisely. In your daily routine, think about how much waiting teaches you. Waiting in lines, waiting for results, waiting for answers. It's uncomfortable, but it teaches you self-control. It makes you reflect. It teaches you to appreciate the outcome more deeply. If everything came instantly, you'd take it for granted. But when you wait, you learn gratitude. When you wait, you value the journey. Delay is not wasted time, it's training time. While you're waiting, God is working. He's aligning the right people, preparing the right opportunities, and clearing the wrong ones out of your path. You may not see it, but every minute of delay has purpose. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. You're not stuck. You're being set up for something greater. So, when it feels like your prayers are unanswered, hold your ground. When your dream seems far away, keep believing. When others move ahead while you're standing still, don't lose faith. Your time is coming, and it will come at the exact moment it's meant to. The delay you're enduring today is the foundation of tomorrow. When your blessing finally arrives, you'll realize why you had to wait. It wasn't denial, it was divine direction. And when that moment comes, it will make sense. The doors that once closed will open with ease. The opportunities that once felt impossible will flow naturally. You'll see that every delay had a reason. Every waiting season had wisdom, and every not yet was God saying, I'm preparing something better. Delay doesn't mean denial. It means destiny is being designed. All you have to do is trust the timing, keep your faith steady, and let patience do its perfect work. Because when it's your time, no delay can stop what's already written for you. Every no has a hidden next. In life, rejection often feels like a door slammed in your face. It feels personal, painful, and sometimes humiliating. But what if every no you've ever received was not meant to stop you, but to guide you? What if that no wasn't the end of your story, but the redirection towards something better? Sometimes God uses closed doors to push you toward the path you were always meant to walk. You might not see it now. Each no carries a hidden next, and that next is always greater than what you were holding on to. We've all faced rejection. Maybe you didn't get the job you dreamed of. Maybe the relationship you thought would last forever ended abruptly. Maybe your plans fell apart right when you thought everything was coming together. In that moment, it feels like the ground beneath you has disappeared. You question yourself, your worth, your purpose. But later, sometimes months or even years later, you look back and realize that what once broke your heart actually saved your life. That no redirected you toward your destiny. Think about how many times in daily life you've wanted something so badly, only to have it slip through your fingers. You thought it was perfect. You prayed for it, fought for it, believed in it, and then it didn't work out. You were devastated. But then something else came along, something you didn't see coming, something far better suited for who you really are. That's the power of divine redirection. God's no is never rejection, it's protection. He knows what you can't see. He hears conversations you're not in. He sees roads that you haven't walked yet. So when a door closes, it's not because you're unworthy. It's because he's saving you from something that wasn't aligned with your growth. Imagine a child reaching for a burning candle because the light looks beautiful. The parent quickly pulls the child's hand away. The child cries, confused, not understanding why something that looks so lovely was taken away. But the parent knows the truth. The light that looked beautiful was dangerous. That's how God protects you. Sometimes he withholds something not because it's bad, but because it's not right for you right now. What you call rejection, he calls redirection. What you call loss, he calls leadership towards something better. Look around in nature. When a river meets an obstacle, a rock or a mountain, it doesn't stop flowing. It changes direction, finding another way to keep moving forward. The river doesn't fight the rock, it flows around it. You must learn to do the same. Life will place rocks in your path, closed doors, failed plans, lost opportunities, but those are not the end of your flow. They are invitations to shift, to grow, to find your next. The water doesn't stop, it adapts. And so must you. In daily life, think about those who turned rejection into redirection. The person who didn't get accepted into one school and later discovered their true passion elsewhere. The entrepreneur who was denied funding by one investor but later built an empire with another. The artist whose work was ignored until one opportunity changed everything. Rejection doesn't mean you're not talented. It means the right audience hasn't arrived yet. Every closed door has purpose. It forces you to find another path, a new version of yourself. Sometimes God has to shut the door you keep knocking on because he knows that behind it lies comfort, not calling. You might want to stay where it's familiar, but God is calling you to where you'll flourish. You can't move to your next level if you keep holding on to what's meant to be left behind. That's why some relationships and some opportunities fade and some dreams shift. They had to because your destiny required more space. When life says, no, it's not pushing you down, it's pulling you forward. Think about a seed again. When planted, it must break before it grows. The outer shell cracks open so the new life inside can rise. That breaking is painful, but it's necessary. The same happens when something ends in your life. The crack in your heart isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new version of you. Every no breaks something, but that breaking makes room for your next. Sometimes God allows disappointment to protect you from destruction. The person who walked away might have been the one holding you back. The job you didn't get might have trapped you in a place too small for your potential. The dream that didn't come true might have blinded you from a bigger one waiting ahead. Rejection doesn't take away your value, it redirects your vision. It clears the clutter so you can see the path clearly. In your everyday moments, when you face rejection, remind yourself that you're being guided, not denied. You might not understand it now, but someday you'll look back and see how every no led to the right yes. Every missed opportunity carried you closer to your destiny. Every heartbreak healed you into wisdom. The pain you feel today will be the reason you're prepared tomorrow. And sometimes your next doesn't come immediately. It takes time. That's where faith steps in. You have to keep believing even when doors close. You have to keep walking even when the path isn't clear. You have to trust that every step back is secretly a setup for a giant leap forward. God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't close doors without reason. When you learn to say thank you for the no, you open yourself up to the beauty of the next. So when you face a now in life, don't break down, stand tall. Don't lose faith, look forward. You may not see it now. That hurts you today will guide you to the next. That heals you tomorrow. Every door that closes protects your destiny. Every rejection is redirection. Every ending is an introduction to a new beginning. What you thought was the finish line is just the curve leading you to your next chapter. Remember this. Doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Choose to see it as guidance, not defeat. Choose to believe that your story isn't over just because a door closed. It's evolving into something better. Because when God says, no, he's not taking away your dream. He's leading you to the one that's truly meant for you. Every no carries a hidden next. And that next is where your breakthrough lives. Isolation leads to revelation. There are seasons in life when God separates you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. He pulls you away from the noise, from the crowd, from the distractions, because there are some lessons that can only be learned in silence. When you find yourself alone, misunderstood, or disconnected from the world around you, it's not a sign of abandonment. It's a sacred invitation, a moment where God whispers, be still. I'm about to show you who you truly are. In daily life, we often fear loneliness. We crave connection, validation, and company. We think being surrounded by people means we're valued. But sometimes the crowd can drown out your clarity. When everyone's voice is in your ear, it becomes hard to hear the still, small voice within you. That's why God sometimes removes certain people from your life, not because they're bad, but because their presence is too loud for the revelation He wants to give you. You can't hear divine direction while surrounded by constant distraction. Think about a caterpillar. Before it becomes a butterfly, it isolates itself in a cocoon. It's wrapped in darkness, silent and still. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but inside, transformation is taking place. The old form dissolves so the new one can emerge. That's exactly how God works in your seasons of isolation. You may feel invisible, forgotten, or stuck, but in reality, you're being transformed. The old you, the one that depended on others for approval, the one that couldn't stand alone, is dissolving so that the new, stronger version of you can rise. Isolation isn't the end, it's the womb of revelation. In your daily journey, isolation might come in different forms. It might be losing friends you thought would always be there. It might be outgrowing relationships, jobs, or environments that no longer fit your growth. It might be long nights of reflection where no one understands what you're going through. But remember, growth often requires separation. A tree can't reach for the sky if it's entangled in weeds. God cuts away what holds you back so you can rise freely. When you're alone, you start to see things more clearly. You begin to hear your own thoughts, your own heart, your own spirit. The noise fades and the truth surfaces. You realize what truly matters, who truly cares, and where your true strength comes from. Some revelations are too deep to share with everyone. That's why isolation is necessary. It's the sacred space where you reconnect with your purpose. Imagine an artist painting a masterpiece. The studio is quiet. There's no applause, no audience. Just the artist and the canvas. Every stroke happens in silence, every color chosen with patience. When the painting is finally revealed, people are amazed, but they didn't see the process. The solitude was where creation happened. That's how God works with you. He isolates you while he paints your new identity, crafts your new vision, and designs your next chapter. When the time comes, he reveals you to the world as a masterpiece. Sometimes isolation is uncomfortable because it confronts you with yourself. You can no longer hide behind business or social noise. You start facing your fears, your wounds, your truth. That's where healing begins. You realize that peace doesn't come from people. It comes from presence. And that presence is divine. God uses solitude to heal what the world cannot touch. He separates you from noise so you can rediscover your voice. In daily life, people may misunderstand your isolation. They might think you've changed, become distant, or withdrawn. But they can't see the spiritual work happening behind the scenes. You're not disconnecting from people. You're connecting with purpose. You're learning to stand on your own, to depend less on approval and more on alignment. You're growing roots in the quiet soil of stillness. Think about a mountain climber. The higher they go, the fewer people they can take with them. The air gets thinner. The climb gets steeper, and only those built for that altitude can continue. That's how spiritual elevation works. The higher God takes you, the smaller your circle becomes. Isolation isn't rejection, it's elevation. The view at the top is beautiful, but the climb is lonely. You can't carry everyone to your next level, and that's okay. Some people were part of your story, not your destiny. When you embrace your season of isolation, it becomes a source of power. It's where ideas are born, where creativity flows, where faith grows stronger. The world might not see your progress, but you'll feel it. Your thoughts become clearer. Your emotions stabilize. You begin to understand that solitude doesn't equal emptiness. It equals alignment. You stop chasing validation and start living from conviction. Sometimes God hides you because he's building something inside you that needs protection. A baby stays hidden in the womb until it's strong enough to face the world. Likewise, your dream, your gift, your purpose, sometimes it needs to develop in private before it's revealed in public. The isolation protects your process. It's God's way of saying, I'm not ignoring you, I'm preparing you. When you finally emerge from that season, you'll notice something powerful. You're not the same person who entered it. The noise that once distracted you no longer matters. The opinions that once controlled you no longer hold power. You'll walk with clarity, confidence, and calm. You'll understand that what felt like loneliness was actually divine intimacy. You weren't alone. You were with God the whole time. So if you're in a season where it feels like everyone's gone quiet, where doors seem closed, where it's just you and your thoughts, don't despair. That's not isolation, that's incubation. You're being refined in the silence. You're being prepared in the stillness. The revelation you need for your next chapter can't be found in the crowd. It's found in the quiet. One day, when you rise from that solitude, you'll realize that isolation didn't break you. It built you. It didn't empty you. It filled you. It didn't silence you. It gave you a stronger voice. And when you speak again, your words will carry wisdom. Your presence will carry peace. Your spirit will carry strength. Because you didn't just survive isolation, you were transformed by it. Delay is not denial. When things don't happen according to your timing, it doesn't mean they won't happen at all. Sometimes God delays your blessing not to frustrate you, but to form you. The waiting season is not wasted time. It's preparation time. What you think is a delay is often divine timing aligning everything perfectly behind the scenes. You see, there's a difference between what's not happening and what's not happening yet. The delay is not meant to break your faith. It's meant to build it. In life, we all have dreams that seem to take forever. You pray, you plan, you work, you hope, and still nothing seems to move. You watch others rise while you remain in the same place. You start to question yourself, maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe God forgot me. But he didn't forget you. He's simply preparing the right moment, the right people, and the right environment for your purpose to unfold. If you get what you want before you're ready for it, the blessing can become a burden. God's delays are protective layers around your destiny. Think about daily life examples. You might want a promotion at work, but perhaps you're not yet equipped to lead the team. Maybe you want a relationship to work, but you still need to heal the parts of yourself that would sabotage it. Maybe you want success now, but you haven't yet learned how to handle the pressure that comes with it. God won't give you something that will destroy you prematurely. Just as a parent doesn't hand a car key to a child who hasn't learned to drive, God withholds certain blessings until you're mature enough to manage them wisely. Look at nature. A farmer doesn't plant a seed and expect it to bear fruit the next day. He plants it, covers it, waters it, and waits. There's a season for growth beneath the surface, roots expanding quietly, unseen by the human eye. The farmer doesn't panic because he trusts the process. He knows that the harvest will come in its own time. Your dreams are like that seed. They're growing in silence in places you can't see. Just because it hasn't sprouted yet doesn't mean it's dead. It's developing strength underground. Sometimes we live in such a fast world that we think waiting means failure. We scroll through success stories online and feel like we're behind. But delay isn't punishment, it's positioning. While you wait, God is moving people, shifting circumstances, and preparing opportunities that align perfectly with your purpose. What seems like stagnation is often divine coordination. The delay is building patience, humility, and wisdom in you, qualities you'll need once your moment arrives. Consider this: if you bake a cake at the wrong temperature or take it out too early, it collapses. The heat, the waiting, has a purpose. In the same way, the heat of delay strengthens you. It tests your faith, shapes your character, and proves your endurance. Because when your blessing finally arrives, you'll value it more deeply. You'll understand that what you waited for wasn't just a result. It was a refining process. The delay prepared you for what's to come. Think of Joseph's story in practical life terms. He was full of dreams and visions, but before he reached his destiny, he went through years of hardship, sold by his brothers, imprisoned unfairly, forgotten by people he helped. Yet every delay was a step toward divine promotion. If he had reached the palace too soon, he wouldn't have had the wisdom to manage it. The same principle applies to you. Your waiting season is shaping your strength. Every closed door, every slow step, every silent night is molding your spirit for greatness in your daily life. Maybe you've been waiting for that breakthrough, a job, a dream, a change, a miracle. You're doing everything right, but the results seem far away. Don't lose hope. The delay doesn't mean the dream has died. It means the time isn't ripe yet. Think about fruit. If you pluck it too early, it's sour. But when it ripens in its own time, it's sweet. God wants your blessings to be fully ripe, perfectly timed, and joyfully fulfilling. And remember, sometimes the delay is not just about your readiness, it's about the readiness of others. The opportunity meant for you might involve people who are also being prepared. The person meant to help you might still be in their own growth phase. The environment you're called to impact might not be ready for your arrival yet. God isn't just working on you. He's working around you. The delay synchronizes divine timing so that everything fits perfectly when your moment comes. Daily life shows us this truth in subtle ways. When you're stuck in traffic and frustrated by the delay, you might later find that an accident occurred on the road you would have taken if you hadn't been delayed. What felt like an inconvenience was actually protection. That's how divine timing works. The delay that frustrates you today might be the reason you're safe, successful, and steady tomorrow. Use the delay to grow. Instead of asking, why is it taking so long? Ask, what is this season teaching me? Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you gratitude. Maybe it's teaching you faith beyond sight, because when you finally receive what you've been waiting for, you'll appreciate it not because it came fast, but because it came after your perseverance. The wait makes the reward sacred. When the time is right, it will happen suddenly and beautifully. Everything you prayed for will unfold naturally, as if it was always meant to be. The same God who made you wait will make sure it's worth the wait. The delay is not denial, it's divine design. It's God aligning everything for your ultimate good. So don't grow weary in the waiting. Don't let frustration steal your faith. Keep preparing, keep believing, keep trusting. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. The delay is your development season. And when it's over, you'll realize that the time you thought was wasted was actually the time God used to shape your strength, purify your vision, and prepare your destiny. One day, everything will make sense. You'll look back at the waiting season and smile, realizing that God wasn't late. He was right on time. The delay wasn't denial. It was the setup for your divine arrival. Pressure produces power. The very things that make you feel like you're breaking are the same things that are building you. Every challenge, every hardship, every heavy moment you carry is shaping you into someone stronger than you've ever been. When God allows pressure in your life, it's never to destroy you, it's to develop you. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Steel becomes stronger under fire. The finest perfume comes from the crushing of flowers. So if you're feeling pressed, crushed, or tested, don't despair. You're in the process of becoming something extraordinary. In daily life, we often complain about the pressure we face, that the deadlines that stretch us, the responsibilities that weigh us down, the problems that won't seem to end. We say, why me? Why now? But if you look closely, pressure has always been the birthplace of progress. The student who feels the pressure before exam studies harder and learns discipline. The athlete who trains under pressure develops endurance. The person struggling through challenges learns patience, humility, and faith. Pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's God's way of strengthening your spirit for what's ahead. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it's buried under soil, pressed down by dirt, surrounded by darkness with no light in sight. But under that pressure, something miraculous happens. The shell breaks, roots form, and life begins to push upward. The same happens in your life. When you feel buried by difficulties, you're not being destroyed, you're being planted. The pressure is creating roots, grounding you in resilience and preparing you to rise. Without the weight of the soil, the seed would never grow. In your daily journey, you might feel like life is squeezing you from all sides. Bills to pay, responsibilities to handle, relationships to maintain. It feels like too much. But remember, pressure reveals potential. It shows you what you're capable of. You never discover your strength and comfort. You find it in challenge. You don't realize how powerful you are until life gives you no choice but to be strong. Every trial that tests you is training you. Every difficulty that hurts you is teaching you. Pressure turns ordinary people into extraordinary souls. Look at how the world itself operates. Coal becomes diamond only after years of intense heat and pressure. If you took the coal out too early, it would remain dull and fragile. The same is true for you. The heat you feel now is molding your spirit. The weight you carry is refining your purpose, and the struggle you face is preparing your shine. God allows pressure not to break you, but to bring out the brilliance hidden inside you. You can't shine like a diamond without enduring the process that shapes one. Sometimes pressure exposes what's weak so that what's strong can rise. When life squeezes you, what's inside of you comes out, your thoughts, your patience, your faith. If frustration and a spill out, it's not to shame you, it's to show you where growth is needed. Pressure reveals what you need to heal. It's an X-ray for the soul. And once you confront what comes out under pressure, you begin to transform it. That's how strength is born, not in comfort, but in confrontation. In daily life, think of a tea bag. It looks ordinary until you put it in hot water. Only then does its true flavor emerge. Likewise, your true essence, your wisdom, your resilience, and your spirit come alive when you're placed in heated situations. The pressure of life brings out the greatness that comfort hides. Every challenge is an opportunity to show yourself what you're made of. When you face pressure, remember, it's a sign that something powerful is on the way. The greater the pressure, the greater the purpose behind it. When God is about to elevate you, He tests your endurance. He doesn't send pressure to destroy your peace, but to deepen your perspective. He's training you to stand firm when the storm comes. The same weight that's testing you today will be the testimony that strengthens others tomorrow. Daily examples show this truth clearly. A student working late nights to pass an exam. A single mother juggling multiple jobs to provide for her children. A business person facing setback after setback, yet refusing to quit. Each of these lives under pressure, yet the strength they develop becomes their superpower. They grow wiser, tougher, and more compassionate. The pressure that once made them cry becomes the force that fuels their purpose. Think about how pressure creates excellence in everything. The sculptor presses and chisels away at stone to reveal the beauty inside. The potter spins and molds clay, applying pressure to shape it into art. The baker kneads the dough before it rises. Without that pressing, nothing beautiful would form. The same hands that press you are shaping you. The pressure you feel isn't random, it's divine craftsmanship at work. You are being molded into the person you're meant to be. And yes, pressure can feel unbearable. There are moments when you want to give up, when you feel crushed beneath life's weight. But remember, you can't build muscle without resistance. You can't grow faith without trials. You can't find strength without struggle. Every ounce of pressure is building you, stretching you, teaching you endurance. The weight you carry today will become the strength you stand on tomorrow. When you start to see pressure differently, it loses its power to break you. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start saying, what is this teaching me? Because pressure isn't meant to defeat you. It's meant to define you. It shapes your character, builds your confidence, and refines your courage. And when you come out of that pressure, you'll notice something remarkable. You're no longer who you used to be. The things that used to shake you won't move you anymore. The challenges that used to scare you won't stop you anymore. You'll realize that the pressure didn't destroy you, it developed you. You've become stronger, wiser, more grounded, and more powerful. So when life presses hard, don't panic. Trust the process. Pressure produces power. The same fire that melts wax-hardened steel, the same storm that destroys weak roots strengthens deep ones. You are not breaking, you are becoming. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. The weight you carry is the evidence of your worth. One day you'll look back and say, that pressure didn't crush me, it created me. The tears, the trials, the sleepless nights, they were all part of your making. Because the truth is, power doesn't come from ease, it comes from endurance. And when God allows pressure, He's preparing you to handle the power that's coming your way. Pain produces purpose. The very thing you're crying about today might become the reason someone else finds hope tomorrow. Pain isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to define you. It's the fire that forges strength, the storm that awakens wisdom, and the wound that teaches compassion. Every scar has a story, and every story has power. When God allows pain in your life, it's never without purpose. You may not see it now, but what hurts you today is shaping the heart, the vision, and the voice you'll use to inspire others tomorrow. In daily life, pain comes in many forms: loss, failure, betrayal, rejection, heartbreak. It's the weight we all carry at some point. You lose something you love, or someone you trust hurts you deeply. You find yourself wondering, why me? Why now? Why this? But what if that pain isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? Sometimes the pain you go through is the push you need to find your purpose. The struggle that once broke you becomes the story that blesses others. Think about how pain works in the physical world. When you exercise, your muscles tear slightly under strain. It hurts, you feel sorry. But that pain is a sign of growth. The muscle fibers rebuild stronger than before. Without that pain, you'd never grow. The same applies to your soul. Emotional and spiritual pain stretch you, strengthen you, and build resilience. You can't evolve into your higher self without enduring seasons of discomfort. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. Look at the people who've done the most good in this world. Many of them didn't come from comfort. They came from hardship. Their pain became their motivation. The person who grew up hungry started feeding the poor. The one who lost someone to illness became a healer. The one who faced rejection started building opportunities for others. Their pain gave them purpose. In your own life, the very thing that hurts you might be the thing that helps someone else heal. Pain deepens your empathy. It allows you to understand others in ways comfort never could. When you've been through darkness, you recognize the pain in someone else's eyes. You become gentle with others because you know how fragile the human spirit can be. You speak words that lift instead of judge because you remember how it felt to be low. Pain doesn't just make you stronger. It makes you softer in all the right ways. It transforms your heart into a vessel of compassion. In daily life, we often run from pain. We distract ourselves, avoid the truth, or bury it deep inside. But healing doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from walking through it. When you allow yourself to feel it, to face it, to understand it, that's when transformation happens. You stop being a victim of your story and start becoming the author of it. You begin to see that the pain you went through didn't end you. It evolved you. It broke the shell of who you were so that who you're meant to be could emerge. Think about gold. Before it becomes beautiful and valuable, it must go through fire. The heat removes impurities, revealing the pure metal beneath. That process is painful but necessary. Your life works the same way. Pain burns away what's false, false beliefs, false people, false fears, until only the real you remains. You may not like the fire, but the fire is forming you into something purer, wiser, and stronger in your daily journey. Pain also brings clarity. It shows you what truly matters. The people who stand by you in pain reveal who your real circle is. The things that still bring you peace in hard times show what's truly valuable. Pain strips away the unnecessary and leaves you with truth. When you come out on the other side, you walk differently. You appreciate more. You complain less and you love deeper. Sometimes pain is the only way to make you move. When life is too comfortable, you settle. You stop growing, stop reaching, stop dreaming. But when pain enters, it shakes you awake. It forces you to make changes you've been avoiding. It pushes you out of old habits, old places, old patterns. What you call pain might actually be divine intervention pushing you into your destiny. God uses discomfort to direct you. Think about a mother giving birth. The process is painful, intense, exhausting, overwhelming. But in the midst of that pain, something beautiful is born. The same is true for you. The pain you're feeling right now might be the birth of a new chapter, a new purpose, a new version of you. Pain precedes promise. Before transformation comes travail. Before elevation comes endurance. Every painful experience is a doorway to something greater. In daily examples, think of the person who lost their job and felt devastated, only to later start a business that changed their life. Or the person who went through heartbreak and discovered self-love for the first time. Pain closed one chapter, but opened another. The very moments that made them cry became the moments that made them strong. Every tear watered the soil of their future. When you start to see pain not as punishment, but as purpose, it loses its power to control you. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every wound holds wisdom. Every scar holds strength. Every season of suffering holds a seed of something sacred. Pain also teaches gratitude. You start appreciating the simple things, the moments of peace, the small joys, the people who truly care. You realize that joy isn't the absence of pain. It's the strength to smile in spite of it. That's real power, when you can look at your past pain and say, thank you. Because now you see that it didn't break you. It built you. And one day, someone will come to you with the same kind of pain you once carried. They'll look lost, tired, and broken, and you'll know exactly what to say. Your story will become their survival guide. Your scars will become someone else's map to healing. That's the purpose behind the pain. So don't curse the pain that shaped you. Don't despise the process that developed you. It was necessary. You had to go through it to grow through it. You had to lose some things to find yourself. You had to be broken to become whole. Pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. Because in the end, pain doesn't define you. It refines you. It doesn't stop your destiny. It strengthens it. The same pain that once made you fall will one day make you fly. And when that day comes, you'll look back and realize that every moment of suffering was sacred. Pain produced your purpose, and that purpose will become the light that guides others out of their own darkness. Faith is your anchor in the storm. When everything around you feels uncertain, when life seems to be falling apart, when nothing makes sense, faith is what keeps you standing. It doesn't remove the storm, but it gives you peace within it. Faith is not about seeing, it's about believing when sight fails. It's about trusting that even in the chaos, God still has control. You might not know how, you might not know when, but faith whispers, hold on, this too shall pass. In daily life, we all face storms, moments when things go wrong, when prayers seem unanswered, when we feel lost. Maybe you faced a situation that tested every part of your strength. The bills piled up, the doors closed, the people you counted on disappeared. In those moments, fear screams louder than reason. But that's exactly when faith must rise. Faith is not proven in comfort. It's proven in crisis. Anyone can believe when things are easy, but true faith shines brightest in darkness. Think about a ship at sea. When the waves crash and the wind howls, the sailors drop the anchor. The anchor doesn't stop the storm. It holds the ship steady so it doesn't drift away. That's what faith does for your soul. It holds you steady when emotions, fear, and doubt try to pull you under. The water may roar, but you remain grounded because you trust the one steering your ship. Faith doesn't always calm the storm, but it always calms your heart. In your daily journey, faith means showing up even when you don't see results. It's waking up every morning and saying, I may not have everything I want, but I'm still standing. I may not see the full path, but I'm still walking. Faith is choosing to believe that there's purpose in your pain, progress in your process, and peace in your persistence. It's believing that what looks like a delay is actually divine timing. Faith transforms waiting into worship and struggle into strength. Sometimes faith means holding on to a promise that hasn't yet come to pass. You pray and nothing changes. You hope and still feel disappointment. But faith doesn't depend on what you see. It depends on what you know deep inside. You know that the same God who brought you through before will bring you through again. You know that every closed door has a reason, and every setback hides a setup. Faith reminds you that the story isn't over just because the chapter hurts. Look at daily examples. A farmer plants seeds and walks away. He doesn't dig them up every day to check if they're growing. He trusts the process. That's faith. You might not see anything sprouting yet, but something is happening beneath the surface. The roots are forming. Growth is taking place in silence. Faith is believing that even when you can't see progress, you know the promise is still alive. Faith is also what gives you peace in situations you can't control. There are moments in life when you've done everything you can, worked hard, prayed hard, loved deeply, and yet the outcome is still out of your hands. That's when faith steps in. It says, I surrender. I trust that what's meant for me will not miss me. It's not weakness, it's strength. It's saying, I can't carry this anymore, so I'll let God carry it for me. That surrender brings peace. In daily life, faith might look small, a whispered prayer in the middle of the night, a deep breath when anxiety hits, a simple thank you, even when things don't make sense. But those small acts of faith are powerful. They're declarations that fear hasn't won. They're reminders that light still exists, even when you can't see it. Faith is also about endurance. When the path is long, when progress is slow, when hope fades, faith keeps you moving. It doesn't promise an easy road. It promises a meaningful one. It gives you the courage to keep walking even when the destination is far. It teaches you that every step forward, no matter how small, is victory. Think about the butterfly again. Inside the cocoon, it struggles to break free. The fight is painful. But if someone cuts the cocoon open to help, the butterfly never learns to fly. The struggle strengthens its wings. Your faith works the same way. It grows in struggle. The storm isn't there to sink you, it's there to shape you. Without resistance, faith stays weak. But when the winds blow and you still choose to believe, your faith becomes unshakable. Sometimes life tests your faith not to show how weak you are, but to show how strong you've become. Each storm you've survived has made your faith deeper. Each challenge you've overcome has made your heart wiser. You may have scars, but those scars are proof that you've been through the fire and still made it out. That's the beauty of faith. It doesn't prevent the storm, but it ensures you rise after it. In everyday moments, faith might look like choosing hope over fear, peace over panic, prayer over worry. It's the quiet confidence that says, I don't know how this will end, but I know I'm not alone. When you live with faith, you stop needing to understand everything. You start trusting that everything will work together for your good. Faith is not about controlling life. It's about trusting life's creator. It's about walking through the fire and knowing you won't be burned. It's about sailing through storms and believing your anchor will hold. It's about standing firm when the world shakes, because your foundation isn't built on circumstance. It's built on conviction. And when your faith carries you through one storm, it becomes your testimony for the next. You start to realize that the same faith that held you before will hold you again. You stop fearing the waves because you've learned how to float. You stop panicking in the dark because you've seen the sunrise before. Faith gives you memory. It reminds you that every storm eventually ends. So when life feels heavy, when the winds roar, when you can't see the shore, drop your anchor of faith. Let it hold you steady. Keep believing even when nothing makes sense. Keep trusting even when everything seems lost, because faith doesn't fail, it fuels. Faith doesn't crumble, it carries. And one day, you'll look back at the storms that once scared you and realize they taught you how to sail. You'll see that every test of faith wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to build you. Because the truth is, faith doesn't just get you through the storm. It transforms you in it. And when you come out, you'll not only have survived, you'll have soared.